We're going to get a little more serious with refraction now. Talk a bit more about some of the details. We had simple examples in our last set of videos. I'm going to get them a little more complicated, a little more how they may show up in your everyday life. So here's a straw in a glass, and it doesn't look particularly strange. However, as you change your orientation, you will start to notice that the straw takes on interesting shapes. So we have the straw out here into the liquid. Then you see a piece here in the middle. You see a piece here in the bottom. You see a piece up there. And as we continue to shift our orientation, and we see even a little branch off over here, the straw is really taking on some strange shapes and looks. And so what you're getting is a combination of things happening, but one of those things is refraction. And so here actually what we have is a straw in oil that's on top of water. Now, you don't have to create this at home, but you can if you want. And it's a pretty simple setup. Pour in the water first and pour in the oil slowly on top. There are a couple of differences to notice here. First off, with this straw, you can notice that the straw actually looks thicker in the liquids. It doesn't look particularly different between the oil and the water. It does look different though, however, from the oil to the air. It does not line up. In fact, if you move the straw, you actually can see some differences between even the water and the oil. Like over here, the water is on the bottom, you see the straw. It's offset from the oil in the middle, which is offset from the air on top. And in fact, the water and the air are not offset by the same amount either. So this straw, same straw, it's not doing a magic trick, in three different fluids. Air, gases are a fluid. It seems to be taking on three different views. And as you come forward, you see it shifting. Oh, look at that. A lot of shift in the oil there and shift the other way in the water. Okay, let's put this aside. Now let's check out a clear glass of water, actually a red wine glass. And what you'll see there in the background is behind it actually is the pot and the foil. Yet when you look through the glass, above it, through the air, it looks normal. Although now you have tuned eyes, you're seeing some other things like a reflection of the lights here in the glass, and you're seeing reflections of the windows there. You're actually seeing multiple reflections of not as many objects as it appears. They're reflecting off the front and back of the glass, but that's not the content of this video. If you look, the leaves are above, but in the water, the leaves now look below. In fact, if we switch around to in front of the book appears upside down. Now, this is not a reflection. If it were a reflection, the light should be coming from our side. So you should be seeing me in the iPad. However, you're seeing something beyond it. Light is actually traveling from that book through this glass to us. But something's happening to that light that's causing it to change its orientation. It's gone upside down. And also it seems, depending on where you look, near the edges of the glass, it looks very distorted. Near the middle of the glass, it looks almost perfect, actually. Interesting. So, another piece that you may find interesting is the following. This is a little beyond where we are right now, but maybe on the next one we'll talk about this. You could do this in a swimming pool. If you dip down, notice this will look funny here, so let's be very clear. Start above the glass, okay? We're just gonna decrease our altitude. Drop, 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 drop. Now we're even with the water level. Gonna drop a little more. And it looks like there's this sort of strange, almost like an oil layer in there. There's no oil in there, it's only water. And I'm gonna bring it closer to the edge so we can really get a nice look at this. So even, drop, 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 drop. And what are we seeing there? Actually, that white and gray pattern is a pattern of the counter. So, okay, that must be a reflection then off the counter. Let's fine. That doesn't seem too crazy, but what is interesting here is if I bring my fingers down above this, here I am, and I come down and reach into the glass, you actually don't see me at all through the water until I actually penetrate and go under the water's surface. Wait a minute. It's almost like it's silvered. When I get above it, you can't see out at all. That's an interesting phenomenon that we'll talk about later on. One thing you may also notice is that the water can act as a magnifier. So, if you see here, I have my fingers again. They come down, normal size, normal size, normal size, and then mega size. So, something's going on with the light here. It's being changed in very interesting ways. This is all actually part of that phenomenon, refraction, and we'll get a little more into that in the rest of our videos.